Good afternoon, all of you. In this particular lecture, we will be starting with unit number 1. The name of the unit is Introduction to Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning. Morning, we already discussed the contents, but briefly we will discuss once again. So, the contents are history of artificial intelligence. Then we will see comparison of AI with the data science. Then what is the need of artificial intelligence in mechanical engineering? Along with that, we will see introduction of machine learning. And the fundamental thing is the logic behind AI, that is reasoning, problem solving ability, knowledge representation, planning, learning, perception, motion, and manipulation. So these are the basic things we will be discussing, and thereafter we will be covering approaches to artificial intelligence and approaches to machine learning. So let's start with the definition of artificial intelligence. So when we talk about artificial intelligence, then two important words are there. First one is artificial and second one is intelligence. So generally, even in our theory classes we discuss, when we say intelligence, generally we try to correlate with human being. And why we call human as an intelligent? Because we people collect the data, store the data, also process the data in order to make some decision, critical decisions, I would say. So that exceptional ability we have, and that's why we call human being as an intelligence. And now when we say artificial intelligence, means the thought that says whatever abilities we human beings have, can we develop machines or programs or systems which are intelligent like human, but these machines program codes will not be living things, and that's why we call it as a artificial intelligence. And what we do in artificial intelligence, we use scientific concepts of developing intelligent hardware or software that can simulate human thinking, reasoning, and behavior. So basically what I wanted to convey here, when we say artificial intelligence or intelligent system, it can be either a mechanical system or it could be a software solution. For example, we can take an example of a robotic system. So that consists of a typical hardware, consists of both mechanical and electronic system, and for a given particular task or activity, the program is fit into it and accordingly it will work. Similarly, software solution, we will take a typical example of software solution, how artificial intelligence plays an important role in software solution. For example, suppose you are searching a product on Amazon website, let's say a laptop. Then what we do, we just go on the official website of Amazon and we put the name of the product, maybe manufacturer of the laptop, then configuration of the laptop, and some other details we give it as an input. And what Amazon website will do for you, it will provide so many options. Now suppose today morning if you searched a laptop on the Amazon website, then afternoon or evening or tomorrow you can see similar advertises on other platforms, for example Google or Facebook or any other platform for next couple of days. So this part is very interesting. So the question here is that you search the laptop as a product on Amazon website, and now similar advertisement you can see on other platforms. So how this is possible? Because there are millions of people who are every day using Amazon website, they are searching different products, and for your particular case, same product of laptop is appearing. So there should be a system that is continuously monitoring you what you are looking for. And in this case, or in this example, you are looking for a laptop with certain configuration, and that our system is understanding your requirements and posting similar kind of ads on other platform. So we will try to divide this particular process into small steps, so that you will come to know at what places the artificial intelligence or that bot come into picture, who collects your data, process the data, and transfer that data to other suitable platform where you are regularly visiting. So first step, what you did, the first step is did by a user, means you created a data. And what type of data you created? You give an input on the Amazon website as a name of the company who manufactures the laptop, then configuration of the laptop, for example hard disk, RAM, SSD, and other technical configuration you are entering. So whatever information you are putting on the search bar of the Amazon website, that will be considered as a data, and that is data generation, and that is input to the system. So this is the first step that is done by user end. Second thing is that in the Amazon website, or there is a AI based software. And what is the role of that AI based software? It collects the data provided by you, and it collects user detail, means you are the person who is searching the laptop, its data is collected. Then the product, in this case laptop, the details, configurations, and other things will be also recorded as a data. And this particular data is collected by this AI solution or software, and it not only collect the data, it will also process the data, and from that a decision is made that what exactly a product you are looking for. For example, you are looking for HP laptop having 8 GB RAM, 500 let's say GB hard disk. So this is information is processed and refined. Then what is done? The AI software system also knows which are the other social platforms or other websites you regularly visit. So that data is also recorded, and the bot which is there on the Amazon website, which will transfer your information to other places, for example Facebook website. And generally what we do, we also regularly use Facebook web page. So first AI based software, what he did, it collect your information and transfer to the AI software developed by Facebook. Then all the details, now technical configuration of the laptop and your user details, will be now with the bot of Facebook. So this process is called as a data transfer from one software system to other software system. And it will understand how long that data should be displayed on your Facebook page or your Instagram page or relevant online platform. So that decision is made. And again, the software, that artificial intelligence based softwares are very smart. They know how long that ad to be displayed on your Facebook profile. That decision is made by the software. So basically what we did here, we divided the example into 4 different segments. In first segment, you as a user generated the data, that is name of the company, laptop configuration, and other technical details. Second step is AI based software which is on Amazon website who collected and processed all your information, that is process of data. The third step is this data is transferred to other software and which are directly linked to the other platforms where you regularly visit, for example Facebook. And finally, the same ad will be appearing on your Facebook website. So this is the way, and in these 4 steps there are 2 pluses where the artificial intelligence software is introduced to collect and analyze the data. So this is the typical example of artificial intelligence. And similarly, morning one question was raised that he was looking for, can we use uh, artificial intelligence in one of the mechanical processes? So in that case, what he has to do, he has to divide the whole mechanical, that particular process into small segments. And when he divide into small segments, he will come to know at what place the artificial intelligence can be put. And therefore it is very essential to divide the whole process into small sub processes. And in order to put the AI into that sub processes, the fundamental understanding of AI is also very essential, because just we discuss the what is AI, but what we don't know what exactly we do in AI, and for that this particular course would help. Now there are some other examples of artificial intelligence as well. For example, Siri, Alexa, or smart assistant that generally we use or we see. And there, what is done? You give some voice command to that assistant, for example, Alexa, and Alexa will convert your voice command into a code that is processed, and accordingly action will be taken. Second example could be self-driving cars. In this, what is done? For example, a self-driving car is there, and the route is from, let's say, Pimpri Chinchwad College of Engineering to, let's say, Pune station. So the starting point and end point is defined, and what that car has to do, or the self-driving car has to do, he has to identify the best route where with shortest period of time the Pune station the car can reach. Along with that, when the journey starts, he has to consider the type of road, their traffic, again so many signals will be there, uh, speed breakers could be there. So based on that, he has, that self-driving car has to decide how much force has to apply, what should be the speed on a particular road. So many decisions he has to make. So at these steps, the role of AI come into the picture. Again, there are so many examples. I will not go into explaining. So robo advisors, conversational bots, then email spam filters, Netflix recommendations. Okay, so these are the some of the examples where for different purposes the role of artificial intelligence come into the picture. Okay. If there is any question related to artificial intelligence definition, you can ask or we will go ahead. Any question from your end? Okay, it seems that there is no question. We will go ahead. And now we will see machine learning. So when we look at the definition of machine learning, what we can see, one very important term is learning. And who is learning? The machine is learning. And it is a field of study wherein the computers or systems are designed with the ability to learn and adapt a new data without being explicitly programmed. So, for example, a self-driving car is there. So already predefined program is there, and based on that predefined program, the self-driving car will make a decision. That is, if the highway is there, then what speed he has to maintain. Then if there is a traffic signal is there, how to receive that data and process the data. Then based on the GPS system, he will come to know where exactly he is and how much time it will take to reach the final destination. So similarly, similar decisions are made by that system only, and for making those decisions there is no explicit need of programming. So once that model is trained, that model is capable to make its own decision based on a given situation. For another example, we'll take, suppose that self-driving car is going, suddenly a person came in front of the vehicle. Then it is a situation where the self-driving car has to make a decision. In that situation, what it will do, it will suddenly apply a brake, and what amount of force should be applied, that a decision has to be taken by the car only. Manually we can take the decision. If suddenly somebody come, we apply the force immediately, but because our brain is processing that information. But here the machine has to make that decision by applying certain predefined programs. Again, we can take the same example, that is, if we search a laptop on Amazon website, then we see the similar advertisements on Facebook or other pages. In this particular case, the very important statement is how long that advertise will be appeared on our Facebook web page. That is a very critical decision, because the data is transferred from Amazon to Facebook, means that transaction is there. So many businesses are involved in it. And from optimization point of view, the machine learning program has to make a decision how long that particular person will be interested in the laptop. For that particular period only, the advertise will appear on Facebook page. Thereafter, the advertise will not be there. Then in artificial intelligence, also in this particular case, we say, or we talked about data. Okay, then data can be anything, and for artificial intelligence and machine learning, data science plays a very important role. So before we start with what is data science, we will understand what is data. For example, if you are looking for a laptop, then the name of the company who manufactures the laptop can be a data. The technical details, RAM, hard disk, and other technical that you are providing, it is also a data. Who is searching the laptop? You, means as a user. So your name, your affiliation, and other details is also a data. Suppose you are playing with some numbers. For example, suppose you have a laptop and you are recording two-wheeler, let's say two-wheeler, and you are recording that if I fill 1 liter petrol in my two-wheeler, then how long it can travel. So that answer will be 50 kilometer per liter or 60 kilometers per liter. So this is also a data. So any kind of information that you want to process is called as a data. And what is done in the data science? So in case of data science, we use scientific methods, processes, algorithms, and systems. So we use those things to process the data, to extract knowledge and make some decisions. And in this case, whatever data with which we are playing or we are dealing, that could be noisy data, It can be a structured data or it can be unstructured data. So we'll discuss few things detail. So for example, what is scientific methods? So for example, suppose you are designing a system, let's say gearbox design. And in that design process, a point come where you need to find out root of the equation. Then in NSM, numerical and statistical methods, we already studied bisection is one of the method used for estimating the root of the equation. So as a design of the gearbox, very small part is estimating the root. So you will be selecting best method that estimate the root of that equation. Or there could be some online available algorithms. For example, suppose you want to use bisection method, then the algorithm and that Python code is already available on online platforms. So you can use those codes as it is or with certain modifications. And that modifications will be as per your requirements. So this is also part of data science. Now what is extracting knowledge? Suppose a curve is there, suppose speed versus time. Okay. And you plotted the data and a curve came like this. So plotting the data is very easier task, but extracting the knowledge is very essential because that is the ultimate aim. Plotting the graph can be done, but what you understood from that graph is very important. So in this particular speed versus time curve, you plotted the data and you drawn a curve. So what you can conclude, as time passes, the speed of the vehicle increases. So that conclusion can be made for in this particular example. So this particular knowledge can be extracted. Now actionable decision or insights. So at any time t, you can find out what is the speed. And suppose your destination is, let's say, Pune station, and you are going with 40 kilometer per hour, and you came to know that if I go with this particular speed, then I cannot reach the Pune station at right time. So in that case, what you can make decision, either to increase the speed or decrease the speed or whatever. So accordingly you make decisions so that you will reach Pune station within given time. Again, here one important thing came, that is in the data there could be a noise, there could be a structured or unstructured data. So suppose you are collecting a failure data of a machine. For example, two-wheeler, how many times it fails. And first time you record that first failure of brake occurred after 3000 kilometers of operation. Second data is the tire failed after 5000 kilometers of operation, and so on. So in this way you started collecting the data, and during the entry of the data in at one of the place, suppose instead of 5000 kilometer, if you put one additional zero, that is 50,000 kilometer, so that is a noise. So that noise is to be removed, and this is an important part of data analysis. And again, for removing such noise, there are some well defined techniques and that you need to use. So what we understood from the definition of artificial intelligence, machine learning and data science, first thing we understood is that artificial intelligence is a very broad term. And in the figure you can see a big circle for artificial intelligence. So it is a very wide term, and the techniques or the fundamentals of artificial intelligence can be used in variety of applications. Second thing is that machine learning. So you can see a circle of machine learning which is inside artificial intelligence. So we can say that machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence. Again, deep learning is another concept that we will be discussing in upcoming classes. So, deep learning is also a subset of machine learning and artificial intelligence. And again, in future, we don't know what kind of new technology will come. So that is also will be a subset of artificial intelligence and machine learning and deep learning. And at each and every place, you will see a data science. So there is a circle for artificial intelligence and some of its part is covered by data science. So why that overlapping is there? Because without data science, artificial intelligence is incomplete. Or in other words, we can say that artificial intelligence requires data to be processed in a scientific manner. Similarly, you may say that for futuristic kind of technology, there may be a need of data science. So you can modify the diagram such that a small part of the future kinds of technologies integrated with data science. So we need to always understand this, that machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence. Deep learning is a subset of machine learning as well as AI. And all future kinds of technologies will be falling under AI or ML or deep learning. And for each kind of intelligence, data plays an important role. So artificial intelligence and data science must go hand in hand. This is very important, and this is the important observation we can make here. And during the example of that laptop, when you search the product on the Amazon website, again we talked about how we generated the data, how that AI algorithm or program process the data, and how it is used for making some decisions. Again, when we look at the history of artificial intelligence, machine learning and data science, then you can see in 1950s, the term, especially after World War II, the word artificial intelligence become more popular. And slowly over the period of time, the artificial intelligence become a branch of engineering. And you can see here that why the word artificial intelligence is called, because during World War II, even in World War II and some of other wars, so many losses taken place, especially the human loss. And at that time, the thought came that can we develop a system which is which can think like a human being? And that idea is tossed, and slowly the research started in that direction. And so many technologies were developed. Now in 90s, the one of the subset of artificial intelligence is machine learning, which is becoming more and more popular, where for a given data set, the models or the systems are trained, and based on that, some decisions are made. So from 1980s to even till date, the machine learning become an important approach. And again, from 2010 onwards, one of the branch of artificial intelligence, that is deep learning, is becoming more and more popular, because people and the systems are becoming very complex, and in order to get some very useful information, complex processes is to be made, and there the role of deep learning came into the picture. So even in the figure you can see, in artificial intelligence you can see in the brain there is a chip which is designed for carrying out certain operations. Again, in machine learning model, you can see inside the brain gears are shown. So models are trained for the data, and once a model is trained, the future can be predicted or appropriate decision can be made. But in case of deep learning, there are different neurons which are connected together. So just like our brain, the process which is carried out inside our brain, similar kind of approaches are used in deep learning. So this is how the development in the field of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and data science is going on. And at everywhere, the data science plays an important role. So if you have any question, the session is open for discussion. Okay, we will take a break of 5-10 minutes. Meanwhile, we will 5 minutes only. Meanwhile, you can fill the attendance which is given in your chat box. Okay, and after 5 minutes, we will start the session, next session. And again, at the end of that section, we will also collect the attendance by using another link. Okay, meanwhile, if you have any question based on whatever we discussed, the session is open. Yes. Anybody has any question? In this 5 minute break, we will take some questions, and after that, we will start our second session. Okay, and after second session also, we will take your attendance. At the beginning of next session, we will take attendance and then we will go ahead. Okay, we will continue now. Okay, so we just discussed what is artificial intelligence, machine learning, and data science with their examples. Now we will see how artificial intelligence is mapped with human capabilities. That mapping is very essential so that we will come to know how and where various devices or systems are to be designed which can perform the task just like human beings. So you can see in the figure, one side the human capabilities are given and on other side AI research fields are given. And in each and every research field, I will tell you a lot of work and research groups and people are working. For example, the first capability of human is seeing. And it's not about only looking at a particular thing or seeing. It's about looking at the system, try to understand the system and store the information. For example, when I am looking at one of a student of our class, so I try to my brain process on the physical nature of that student, and this information is processed and stored in the brain. So next time when I will look at the same student, my brain will tell me that what is the name of that student. Okay, and if we meet after 5 6 years, then my brain will tell me that 5 years back how you were as a student, now after 5 6 years how you are looking and what are the differences are there. So this is one of the thing that we do, and in line with this the computer vision is there and a lot of research is going on. For example, face recognition system, right, where your uh, images of your faces are stored in that system. Again, that machine learning model is trained and that device is prepared. So whenever you will stand in front of that face recognition system, it will identify who is in front of that machine, and the data will be stored. Similarly, the hearing is another human capability. So we can correlate this with the app like Alexa, where we speak or voice command is given to it. That AI app will process on the information and appropriate decision will be taken. Again, talking, just like listening is one ability, so similarly the Alexa also speaks with you, right? When you ask something to it, it will reply, and it will also take some other decision like play some song or something like that. And similarly, you can look at the other processes, understanding languages, your movements, then reasoning and learning. So these are the human capabilities are mapped with AI fields. And in all the domains of AI research field, a lot of research is going on. For example, you can imagine when you were using internet 5 years back or 10 years back. If you don't know the particular English word for a particular Marathi word, then what you were doing? You are just trying to put the Marathi word, and the Google was not giving you the appropriate result for that Marathi word because the Google system is not aware about that language, Marathi language. But today, even if you put the Marathi word for that, then automatically the Google will understand what is the English word for that Marathi word. Accordingly, the information is processed and the results will be shown to you. So this is how day by day the technology is changing. Even 5-10 years back, the search option was only the using the manual input. So by using keyboard, you are giving the inputs to the Google, and then the information was searched. Now voice command is also available. So you need to turn on it and you need to just speak it. So when you speak is whatever you are speaking, that Google is understanding what you are speaking. Your voice will be translated into the letters, and again that letters will be processed by using AI algorithm or machine learning algorithm, and appropriate search pages will be displayed to you. So this is how it works. Similarly, we can take the example of robot. For example, pick and place robot. Suppose we will take one example here. Suppose this is one workstation, and this is the place of robot, and this is another workstation. So what pick and place robot will do, it will collect a job from first workstation, let's say 1, and then it will take that to another workstation, let's say station number 2. Then what we need to do as a research, first the movement from station 1 to station 2, the program should be written in that robotic system such that it will transfer the component from one station to second station in shortest time and by using a path which is shortest one, preferably shortest one. Second thing is that the component to be collected at station 1, the robotic system should understand what is the hardness of that particular component, and accordingly it has to apply the load. For example, if metallic rod is there, then the robot should understand, yeah, here in this case I have to apply more force to lift it and place it to another place, and that force is decided in such a way that there will not be any damage to that component. At the same time, the product will get lifted and placed to another place. The same case will not be with the glass component, because in case of glass component, the amount of force which is applied which will be smaller, so that there will not be any kind of damage. So based on the situation, that is what kind of component it has to lifted and it is placed, accordingly the programming needs to be done, that comes under robotic system. Again, the grippers, the actuators, and all these components will be selected accordingly. Again, as I mentioned in the automated reasoning, so just we will take one example. For example, when you completed your 12th examination and CET examination, also JEE examination, so you compared your marks with the previous year's cutoffs of various institutions. Based on that comparison, you come up with certain options which is to be filled while choosing the college. Again, you considered fee of that college, the location of that college, the place where you live. So many parameters you considered along with your marks to make a decision that which will be your first preference of the college and second preference and so on. So accordingly, you made a decision. Similarly, so everywhere you are putting some reason why. So similarly, you can develop a program. For example, imagine instead of manual operation, you just put where you, what is your 12th score, what is your CET score, what is the place of the place where you live, then the cutoffs of different institutes. Suppose you give it to the system, and the system, if it tells that what should be the college preferences you should give, so that could be an area of research. Second thing, you can imagine there are thousands of students who are putting the choices of their colleges, and there is a system who is processing all the information submitted by all the students, and accordingly college wise the seat is allocated and all the information is processed. So this is an example of artificial intelligence. So this is another approach. Again, when we talk about all these examples, what is very important? First, we try to save our time. We try to minimize the human efforts, and we try to optimize the things. So these are the some of the parameters which we considered, and accordingly the research needs to be carried out. Okay, then what is the scope of artificial intelligence? So you can see here machine learning, deep learning, and predictive analytics. So suppose last 2 years, the way the COVID had started and its impact was there, by using that data, if we predict the behavior of the COVID in the month of January, February, March onwards, then it is comes under predictive analysis, where we make some predictions. So that is one of the scope of AI. Then text to speech, so speech recognition. So translating one information from one language to another language, receiving speech to text, text to speech. So this is another scope of AI. Then image recognition. Suppose 80 students are in your class and you took the pictures of all the students, suppose one student 10 features. So by using those images, the machine learning algorithms can be trained. And if we put that face recognition system outside your class, so every day when one student will come, he will stand in front of that machine, then he will go inside the class. So this particular machine can be used for automatic attendance. So in this case, we are not using the numbers or text information. Here we are using the images. So this is another area. Again, as I mentioned, language processing, the classification of language, translating one information from one language to another, then extracting some information, then along with that expert system, planning and optimization in the industry, or designing and developing the robotic system. So all these areas will come under AI. But these are some of the areas. There is no limit. So whenever you people are dealing with any kind of system, Whenever you understand that, yeah, here I can use AI, yes, that could be the application of AI. In some of the historical development, as I already shown you how AI evolved in 50s, how machine learning is evolved in 80s, and since 2010 onwards, the deep learning become a more and more popular tool. So this is another way to present the history of artificial intelligence. So along with these slides, I will be sharing another slide with you, presentation with you, where you will come to know all the minute details of historical development of artificial intelligence field. And those who are very interested in history, they can read it, and it is going to be very interesting for them. This is another same information is present in a different way. So the way the information is presented, so while writing your project report, or if you are writing a paper and you are doing some literature review, so there also you can use some of these approaches. How the technological development occurred in that particular domain, if you put in a pictorial form or a tabular form or any other appropriate form, then it will be easy for the reader and they can understand in a better way. Now we will go to types of artificial intelligence, because as I mentioned, artificial intelligence is very general term and so many things are included in it. So basically the artificial intelligence is classified based on its ability and based on its functionality. Again, based on its ability, it is classified into three types: weak or narrow AI, strong or general AI, and super AI. Again, based on the functionality, AI can be classified into four groups. First, reactive machines. Second, limited memory. Third, theory of mind. And fourth one is self-awareness. So this is the overall classification of artificial intelligence. Now we will see these types one by one with example. So based on ability, the first is weak or narrow AI. So from the weak word, we can easily understand the AI systems are designed to handle simple or only one task. For example, face recognition system. So what is the simple task of that face recognition? The model is already trained and some person stand inside in front of that face recognition system, then machine will just predict what is the name of that person. Or voice recognition, what the system will do, whatever you will be speaking, it will understand or it will convert that voice into a text or appropriate understandable language. So in this case, what can be done? For example, you need to develop a program to identify if a given images is dog or a cat. So what you will do? You will take hundreds of images of cat and hundreds of images of dog. And through that images and their profiles, you will train the machine learning algorithm to identify the dog as well as cat. And once that model is trained, next time you will provide an unknown image, and suppose that unknown image is of dog, then what that face recognition or that system will do, it will tell you that this is a dog. Suppose you are showing the picture of a cat, then it will tell it is a cat. And again, suppose you put an image of a elephant, then the system will recognize this is neither a cat or nor a dog, this is something else. So this is the simple example of weak or narrow artificial intelligence. Second is strong or general. So from the word itself, we can understand the strong AI is the improvised version of weak AI. And here the system is designed to accomplish variety of tasks as well as learning and improving itself. For example, Siri or Alexa. What they do, if you speak something to it, it will understand, it will try to understand what you are asking. It will process that information. For example, if you are looking for a particular song, then you will say, Alexa, play XYZ song. Then it will understand, it will process that information, it will search on which app it should catch that song and play for you. Again, if you, this is one example, and this is a kind of a simple AI. But again, second example, if you ask, Alexa, what is the weather today? Then it will process that information, it will speak to you. So it will listen as well as speak. So both abilities can be seen. Abilities are there. So similarly, multitasking is there. Again, if you want to set alarm, it will set the alarm and it will repeat the same. So it will also memorize the information. So this is how day by day the simplex or weak or narrow AI is becoming a strong or a generalized AI where variety of tasks can be done by a single system or a computer program, and this is called as strong AI. Again, the third category is also there, that is super AI. And from the word super, we can easily understand that when the capability of the artificial intelligence system or a computer program exceeds the human capabilities, then it will be the case of super AI. So in the future, we may see systems who are performing much better than the human, and that could be the examples of artificial intelligence. Or recently you might have read or watched the news of the bot that is developed by Facebook. So they develop different bots to perform various operations, and once that project is under process, they realize that these bots started communicating each other in a different language, and the developers were not in a position to understand what they are speaking. So we watch such kind of news. So these could be the case of AI. Or in our class also I gave the example of Matrix movie. So that could be the futuristic technologies where the artificial systems will exceed the human capabilities, and they will think for developing itself and exceeds the whatever activities we people are doing, and how they can do it a better way and they can cross the human capabilities. Then based on functionality, as we discussed, there are 4 types. First one is reactive machines. In this case, the machines do not store memories or learning from past experiences. So there are so many examples. So generally, if you have old versions of cell phone or laptop, then there is an inbuilt the chess game. And when you start playing with the computer, then you start playing with your own logic, and the inbuilt system will have predefined program, and with that logic the chess will be played by the computerized system. And in this case, or in this simple case, the computer will not try to understand your behavior, and it will be based on its predefined programs. And once you shut down the system and again if you start it, again the same logic the computer will apply and it will work. It will not store any kind of previous data or past experience. And some of the other examples you can see here. Then limited memory, where the system store memories for a short period of time or store limited memory. For example, suppose we already took the example of self-driving car. So when you set the location PCCOE to Pune station, then the algorithm will find out the best route and all possible situations, and it will store that information. And when you start your journey, during that journey, whatever stored information available with it, it will process it and make the appropriate decision. Okay, because we don't know when a civilian will suddenly come in front of you, how many speed breakers will be there, what are the traffic signals will. So these are the some of the required information will be stored, and that is called as limited memory, and based on that the decisions can be taken. In some of the computer games you might have realized or seen that when you play with the game with the system, inbuilt system, computerized system, then over the period of time the system will learn your behavior, the way you are playing, and accordingly it will modify his strategy. And means for that tenure or for that period the machine is learning and storing your memories, or the way you are playing, the crisp will be stored. And again when you shut down the system and again you will start, then all the stored memory will get erased, and again the system will start like a fresher one. So this is another case of limited memory. Or we will take example of pick and place robot. So the machine is trained to pick from one location and place the component to the another location. So if this is the machine, then it will come to know where is the first station, what component he has to take, and which path he has to follow, so that with the less time it will reach to the another station. So let's say 2, and how to release the component. So these are the particular steps the machine is already trained. Accordingly it will make the decision so that the components will be picked, transferred, and placed to the another location. So this is how it will work. So this is again another example of limited memory. Then theory of mind. So this is something different. So in this case, the system that can simulate human emotions, beliefs, desires that impact future decisions. So in our day-to-day life, we learn so many things, and we will understand how it is going to affect on our future, and accordingly we will make the decision. So similar thought process can be implemented in the machines. So a lot of research going on to understanding the emotions of human, beliefs and desires. So we will take example. Suppose we want to go to Vadgaon from Pimpri-Chinchwad College of Engineering. Then what we will do, we will put the destination as Vadgaon. But in Pune there is Vadgaon. Again in Kolhapur district also there is another Vadgaon. And we are just entering the information as Vadgaon, and it will showing you something. And you started your journey, and after some time you realize that I wanted to go to Vadgaon, which is in Pune district and not in Kolhapur. Then you get irritated and you will become crazy, and you angrily asked, hi Google Map, what you are showing? You are not understanding where I wanted to go. Means you are expressing your anger on that system. But whether that Google Map will understand your emotion? No, it will not understand. So the present system, most of the system which we talk about, they are not understanding our emotions. So the futuristic technology could be when we express our emotions, then the machine will try to understand and it will make decisions accordingly. For example, if you couldn't complete assignments and you met your teacher then he will shout at you, and he will tell you a lot of thing, and just like anything, but you will not say anything in return because you know that it is your mistake. And if you say something back, then the discussion may go in a wrong direction. So you will understand the situation, and according to that you make your choice how to behave. So this is how the futuristic technologies could be. Again, the extended version of the theory of mind could be the self-awareness, where a system is self-aware when it is able to perform a representation about itself and thus be conscious about itself. So just like based on situation, the machine should able to make a decision. Again, emotions, beliefs, desires, whatever decisions will be made, what will be its effect on the future. So many things will be considered while making decisions. So again, this type of technology is not exist, and this is a futuristic technology, and therefore this is one of the classification of artificial intelligence. Now, again, the question comes, we understand AI, what is ML, what is data science, we understand the types of artificial intelligence, then why it is essential, and especially as a mechanical engineering students, why artificial intelligence we should learn. So this is very important, very difficult question. So the answer is very simple. The fundamental reason is humans are very lazy. We need to accept it. Why we need to accept it? Because many a times in our routine life we do some monotonous work, and which we don't want to do. For example, you need to type one page per day, for example, continuously. So you will get tired with typing. So what you can do, you may think of developing a voice based system where you can, instead of typing, you just speak and machine will translate your voice command into text. So in order to simplify our task, we are coming with machines or a system. Similarly, suppose manually you want to pick one component, place it to another place. So 1 or 2 times you can do that work, or 5-10 times you can do that. But if you are told to do the pick and place for whole day, it's very difficult for you to do because of your physical capabilities, or you may do some mistakes because this is a kind of monotonous activity, and there may be a chance of accident. So there you can come up with the AI system. Or even you can take very simple example. Generally for suppose a worker is working on a lathe machine, where what he has to do, he has to take one component, put on the spindle, he has to turn on the cycle button so that the machining process will start. After machining process, he has to take that component, place in another tray. That is also, but even though the weight of that component is very light, he can do it, but again it is a monotonous work. So instead of that, can we design a robot that can replace a human being, and its role will be to pick that component, place on the spindle, again turn on the machine, again after operation remove that component from the spindle and place in another tab. So that can also be done. So these are the reasons where we can implement the artificial intelligence. Again, we would love to live in a world where there is a minimal human labor, and thus we are able to save ample amount of time. So time saving is another aspect, right? So in that case also we can think of implementing AI. Again, the data that we are producing is in huge chunks. For example, take an example of bearings. Okay, and again in that we nowadays we are talking about magnetic bearing, and magnetic bearings where a lot of sensors are there. So there is no contact between the shaft and the physical casing, we can say, and the shaft is rotating in the air, and its position is continuously monitored by the sensors. And if the position limits, if the machine is crossing that limit or that shaft crossing that limit, then automatically the machine will stop. So the sensors which are there, who are continuously monitoring the position of the shaft, they are creating a lot of data. How much displacement is taking place in X direction, Y direction, or Z direction, or longitudinal direction and circumferential direction. And that data is stored over the period of time. Now we know that the behavior of the sensor over the period of time will not remain same. Again, the magnetic field developed by the system to locate the shaft will not be same over the period of time. It will degrade. We don't know how the regradation is there, but we wanted to know how that degradation is taking place, or how the performance of the sensors is going down. So for that purpose, we need to collect the data which is provided by the sensors over the period of time, and that is a very huge data. And for processing that data, human capabilities may be not sufficient, or instead of doing that laborious work by a human being, we can come up with a AI system who can process the data, and that can tell, yes, if we put a sensor on the magnetic bearing, then you need to replace it after every 3 months or 1 year, based on its performance or based on the results that we are getting from the data. So that can be a part. Then we as humans need something that processes and handles data to minimize the strenuous effort being put into handling it. Just we took the examples of sensors, those who are creating continuous data. And again, to check the axial movement of the bearing, the shaft, there are axial sensors. Again, to monitor the radial position of the shaft, there are radial sensors. So there are so many sensors who are continuously generating the data, and it is very big. And this is a labor work or a time consuming and monotonous kind of work, and maybe human capabilities could be insufficient. So there we can think about such kind of data processing systems, or a system that can handle a lot of data. So these are the some of the examples. Again, we can take the example of automobile or a car. In a single car, there are more than 20,000 components. And we know that the behavior of all the components is different. Its life is different. So we need to come up with a proper maintenance strategy. And based on component, we can develop a monitoring system. For example, there is a sensor who can continuously check the quality of oil used in gearbox, and when the quality of the oil goes beyond certain limit and it is to be replaced, then there should be an indicator on your dashboard which can tell now the quality of oil is below the expected level and you need to replace it. Second example could be the bearings which are used in the wheels. There should be a sensor who can continuously monitor the behavior of the bearing, and if there is a failure, any kind of failure in the bearing, then there should be an indication that the front left wheel bearing has failed or is about to fail and we need to replace it. So similar kind of AI or ML systems can be developed who can give you input and minimize your manual task, and you can make some important decisions. And in line with this, there are so many goals of AI: reasoning and problem solving, knowledge presentation, planning, learning, natural language processing, perception, motion and manipulation, social intelligence and general intelligence. So these are the some of the other areas where AI and ML tools can be used, and this particular part we will be discussing in our next lecture. Okay, so that's it from my side for today's session. If you have any question, the session is open for discussion. Okay, so either you can unmute yourself and ask your question, or you can put your question in the chat box. Yes, anybody has any question? If you have any other question, general question related to your classes and other things, you can also free to ask. Now today we covered whatever part we already covered in offline mode. So from tomorrow onwards, all new part will be discussed. So those who thought that this part is already covered in offline mode, tomorrow onwards that will not be the case. So communicate your friends that all the contents which will be covering from tomorrow onwards will be new for you, and you have to attend the session. Sir, same link already respond. If you already responded, so don't worry, you need not to fill it. You can leave the meeting. Yes, Tejas is saying permission is needed. So if you, yes.
Sir, you said that you have to do twice different attendance.
No, no, not required. I said, but actually it is not required. So if you already filled the attendance 40 minutes before, then you need not to fill it. Okay, it will be marked there. Yeah, correct. Yeah, regarding PPT, so what I will be doing after completion of every unit, I will be sharing the PPT to you. Along with that, as I already mentioned, there are some additional PPTs that we received. So those will also be shared with you. So don't worry about it. You will get all the PPTs.